Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin and Cardano. We take a look at both charts and can take a look at what we might expect today of the price charts. Volume is generally low in the crypto market. I mean, on Monday we have even a 3-day weekend, I think, in the USA. So Monday is a public holiday there. Therefore, I think we can't really expect something too exciting here. Last weekend was obviously quite, or last week was quite interesting, or this week, with the release of the inflation data. And overall, the market isn't doing anything exciting at the moment. But this is pretty much what we did expect, because we expect a little bit of a consolidation before we see a breakout, and we take a look at that. Before we start though, for everybody who's new on the channel, this is my primary scenario for the Bitcoin chart, within which we currently are in this larger cycle of a wave 1 that we have completed back in April, and now we're in this wave 2 correction. There are alternatives, as always with Elliott Waves. Ideally you have alternatives presented, but all my alternatives, they relate to a short move up, either in this blue box here or into that yellow target area, from which we would then go down into that area between 20 and 29k. On top of that, we've got this head and shoulders, which is played out, where we currently see this neckline being broken. That neckline has broken, and what we're waiting for now is for a retest of that neckline potentially. That would also sit in the blue target area, and from there we could then really shoot down in a final sell-off. This is not only related here to the Elliott Waves and head and shoulders, but all of that points obviously towards that. Yesterday I also showed you the S&P 500 grand super cycle, and yes, this is a very large scale view, but it has done exactly this pattern. And with first of all, I think the crypto cycle, because cryptos are just much younger, the asset class, the cycle time will also be shorter. And generally with Elliott Waves, or generally in markets, you can find patterns within patterns. You can find same wave structures in subdivisions and subwaves. Therefore, this year has played out over 10 years, I think, or 15 years. And just because on the S&P 500 something plays out over 15 years, it doesn't mean that it couldn't play out over 1 or 2 years in the crypto market. And what we're seeing here is exactly that pattern I've been talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside, which was a larger wave 1. We're now coming down in this wave 2 in an ABC correction. And as you can see here, this really mirrors the Bitcoin chart. We've come up, come down quite strongly, made another all-time high very briefly, and then came down here even further than that middle support. And this is exactly what Bitcoin is looking like. You can't oversee it. I think you come up here in this wave 1, came down to a support, come up, made a new all-time high. Now we're coming down and possibly into that target area there. That's what I expect, but we take a look at what we can expect imminently. This could obviously be wrong. The market could decide to do something completely different, but the likelihood to do that is quite high. And where are we currently? We are currently here in this area that I highlighted a couple of days ago, or a few days ago, when we started to make this pattern here. I told you that we could really see a cup and handle forming. I think we are seeing the formation finally of that handle here. So what you can see, we've done the cup. By the way, we've come down here to 39.5. One of my buy orders was triggered exactly at the low. Really nice. We've then broken this channel. Really good as well. Good signal. Broke that. When we broke it, we had a bit of a boost to the upside. Came to a key Fibonacci retracement level here. And I told you in the previous video, it could be theoretically that retracement is already enough for that wave 4. So this here is assumed to be a wave 4 retracement. That Fib level, as it was reached, was already enough from the Elliott Wave rules for a wave 4 retracement. So theoretically, it could continue its sell-off now. But what I would like to see is a retest of this line here at 46k at least, which is the head and shoulders pattern. I would want to see that, so we could really see a move closer now, a building up of this of the price around this Fib level again. So what we can already see here, that was pretty much as expected here. We came down, retested this channel as support, which is great. We then bounced off, and now we're moving closer to this Fib level, or to this target area again. And we're making a higher low here, which is good to see. We've made a higher high, which is good to see. So we're building up here potentially for a breakout. The volume is quite low though, and that is the only thing that I think, well, maybe we might get a bit of a problem here. But you can also identify here a possible trend line depending on how you want to draw it. This could be also seen as a cup and handle, can obviously be seen a lot is an ascending triangle. So you're moving up here, and this is really what we're looking for here. But that's again what I made you aware of, that we could really see here this what I showed you in the last video. You could see this cup, and then you could see this handle, but the handle possibly forming here as a bit of a consolidation and then break out to the upside. That is what could be, I think, with a high likelihood could happen next, especially as we're really seeing here this building up. You know, you see these higher lows now. If people ask me, should I buy now? Obviously, I will actually never answer these questions. That's entirely up to you. I wouldn't buy now. I bought down here at 39.5, and channel members know my buy and sell orders. The thing is though, that this was the low. You know, this was a key fib level down there, and I showed you that in the previous video. Here, where you are now, there's just a bit of education. You can, you know, obviously no financial advice, but just for information. Generally, you wouldn't necessarily want to get in here below a resistance line. I mean, we're just below a resistance line. So either you wait till you hit below a support, or you wait until a resistance is broken. Wait for a retest, go in then. There are so many different strategies. I talk about them on my second channel, More Trading Online. And again, yesterday someone asked me what's the best way to get started in trading. I mean, I can't answer these questions. You know, it's all about education. You know, it takes time. It's all about education, and you need to get familiar with. You need to find your own strategy. That's what it is. There are courses out there. I'm not offering any training or course, at least not at the moment. But that might be something for the future. But you know, that's the future. So where we are here now is, you can even see here that this could be seen as an ascending wedge, which would again be a sort of bearish pattern. So again, that's the problem I have with pattern. That's what I generally like to use the Elliott Waves more, because on the one hand, you've got here a more bullish pattern, this ascending wedge, ascending triangle, yeah, that we've actually seen here, ascending triangle, and also a cup and handle. On the other hand, you see an ascending wedge here. The problem I have with an ascending wedge in this situation is that we actually already, normally you would see an ascending wedge, or you would take it more seriously, I think, in an uptrend when the buyers are running out of steam. Yeah, that is where I would consider that very relevant. Then after an uptrend, or at the end of an uptrend, you would see an ascending wedge. You would think, right, the buyers are running out of steam, the RSI is dropping, you know, you're losing momentum to the upside. Here in a pretty much way we're seeing here potential reversal actually to the upside. I wouldn't pay too much attention to that ascending wedge. I would pay more attention here to this potential break of that key resistance line here, which is sitting, I mean, there's a bit of a zone here, but I think the key level would be here at 44k. If we break that, we could go further here into the target area, and then with the next key resistance here at 55.5, yeah, 55.6, maybe even get all the way up to 55.9, which would be that head and shoulders diagonal neckline basically, and from there on then we could move down. This is of course a bit of speculation what we could be seeing here, but I told you the key levels to watch out for. If we break here currently, this is an ascending line as well, so you can put that on the chart. But in my view here, if we see this level broken, the 42k or 42k, then this pattern is it will get more complex, not necessarily invalidated, but I think then we don't see that easy ascending wedge, ascending triangle here. If we drop below 39.5k, I would be quite confident that this bounce to the upside is over, and that we're then going to see that final sell-off to much lower levels that will then eventually take us to below 29k. What's going on with ADA? ADA holding still fairly well above the 0.887 fib level here at 125. If we zoom in ADA chart, you can really see, but this is the weekly chart, so go to the daily. You can really see how much is going on there in this area above and below this last fib level here, the 0.887 fib level. This was also here within my target area that I gave you here about where ADA could reverse to the upside. Really like the last fib level here, the last key area for the bulls. To be honest, the bulls haven't really lost it yet. They lost it temporarily, reclaimed it. There's a lot of fighting going on around this 125 level. And also we've got this technical orange ascending support line, which has provided support for all the wicks along this year on the ADA chart. You can see that here. Didn't want to draw that red line, but you can really see this ascending trend line. So there's a lot of support going on here. And bulls and bears are fighting around this level, and this is eventually what is happening, you know, in financial markets. It's basically a fight every day. One person wins and makes the profit, or one party wins. Overall, we still remain here below the 50 line of the daily RSI, and this is so relevant for the ADA chart. We've only had 2 breakouts here since the beginning of this correction, and that's a key level that you could use potentially to determine if a breakout is happening. Bear in mind there were 2 fake outs, but they were only very brief. But it's a big thing if that 50 line on the RSI on the daily is broken for ADA. Yeah, good sign is that, like here, we are seeing another green cross on the MACD, a bullish cross. Last time here we saw a move up to 160, and we could potentially see something again. But the thing is, this time we are much higher on the RSI than we were last time. So this time, break to the upside could really push it, could also push the prices maybe more sustainably to the upside. But we're currently just, what we're doing here is coiling up for something. Definitely we are. You can identify a bit of a, this is because of the 20-day moving average. You can see the white line coming down there already. So you've got that. Overall, possibly, you know, can you identify something like a triangle? There's certainly something going on here, a bit of a coiling up really, and we're moving here into an apex. So I wouldn't expect too much volatility here today. I think there would be a bit of bouncing, supporting and resistance here between those levels of around 125 and 129 before there will be eventually a breakout. Now, what direction will that breakout be? I don't know, but it could really push it to the upside here. Maybe if Bitcoin really breaks into that target area, then I think ADA could also break out of this pattern here. Bear in mind the 20-day moving average is coming down here. So at the moment, we just need to wait what ADA is doing. There is no real, because it's just bouncing up and down here at the moment. You know, there isn't really anything that we can do. It's just indicators. You can see that around the 50 line, dancing around the 50 line here on the RSI. We would need to wait for Bitcoin. Yeah, I think the likelihood that Bitcoin is moving up and would eventually break into this target area is quite high. Therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if ADA also moves up here and breaks above the 20-day moving average. But how sustainably will that be? I don't know. It's just too early to talk about a breakout for ADA, because ADA has moved down so much. To really talk about a sustainable breakout to the upside, we would need to see much higher levels. But as soon as I really see here first impulse starting, I will certainly make you aware. Overall, generally, personally, I believe that for many of these cryptos, including Cardano, even though we can possibly expect lower levels if Bitcoin drops lower, these are great prices, especially you know, longer term. And nobody knows when exactly the correction will be over. I personally expect a correction for cryptos and also Bitcoin. If I look at how long it took previously to do these corrections, and just with all the information I have, and again, I could be wrong here, I would expect the correction to be over like end of Q1, and then I think the next step would be a rocket start. But then again, you never know for guaranteed. Is Bitcoin really going to go into this area? I'm never claiming that this is the only possible outcome or truth here, but my scenario here I think has a high likelihood, and I stick with it because there's no point for me to switch around scenarios every video, because it would just confuse people. I think this is at the moment, as long as this is valid, the most likely scenario. And I can't stress that enough. Nobody knows what's going to happen, and therefore I like to have this in mind. I have an understanding of where the prices might go and the charts might go, but also I dollar cost average in at strategic levels where we could see a reversal and a turning point. And if you want to see my buy and sell orders, of course you can join as a channel member and you can get access to Discord, see my buy and sell orders. I've got a hodling portfolio where I really hold over various years, and then a trading portfolio as well, but not for day trading, rather for longer term swing trading. But overall that has worked fairly well, because on the one hand you can take profits, on the other hand you can always move stuff into your hodl portfolio if you believe in the crypto market long term, which I do, and I think we haven't seen the end yet anyway, and overall markets are generally moving to the upside anyway. long term. Otherwise, they would die, and I don't see the crypto market dying. So this is normal for me, you know. And if we take a look at the, again, just one more here at the S&P 500 super cycle, this has happened before, you know, just in a different market. So will be very interesting, and we'll keep track of it. All right, hopefully you liked the update about Bitcoin and Cardano. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.